British Prime Minister Liz Truss says that there will soon be another vote in the Conservative Party to choose her successor. This follows her resignation earlier today. This comes just days after her new finance minister reversed virtually all of her planned tax cuts, sweeping away a free market fiscal agenda that promised a radical policy shift for Britain. Truss has admitted her radical plans went too far and too fast after investors dumped the pound and government bonds.
The shortest stint for a British Prime Minister. Liz Truss has fallen on her sword and resigned. She was in office for only 45 days. Truss faced a monumental task of burying the late British Queen Elizabeth II last month. Her term in office has been characterised by economic turmoil.
I came into office at a time of great economic and international instability. Families and businesses were worried about how to pay their bills. Putin's illegal war in Ukraine threatens the security of our whole continent, and our country has been held back for too long by low economic growth. I was elected by the Conservative Party with a mandate to change this. We delivered on energy bills and on cutting national insurance. And we set out a vision for a low-tax, high-growth economy that would take advantage of the freedoms of Brexit. I recognise, though, given the situation, I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected by the Conservative Party.
Truss has notified British King Charles III about her intention to vacate 10 Downing Street.
This morning I met the chairman of the 1922 committee, Sir Graham Brady. We've agreed that there will be a leadership election to be completed within the next week. This will ensure that we remain on a path to deliver our fiscal plans and maintain our country's economic stability and national security. I will remain as Prime Minister until a successor has been chosen.
Last week, Truss sacked her Finance Minister, Kwasi Kwarteng, and on Wednesday, Home Secretary also resigned amid tension within the Tories. French President Emmanuel Macron has called for stability in London.
Ensuite, je veux dire que la France, en tant que nation et peuple ami,
France, as a friend of the British people, wants stability, and in the current context, a context of war, of tensions over energy and the wider crisis, it's important for Britain to regain political stability, and that's all I want.
retrouve très vite une stabilité politique, et c'est tout ce que je souhaite.
On a personal level, I sympathise with her. I think it's been a very difficult time for the British Prime Minister, given all that has happened, and so on. And then, therefore, I think what's important as Britain's nearest neighbour, we have a significant economic and relationship and many other relationships with the United Kingdom. I think stability is very important.
Meanwhile, Wall Street's main indices opened lower after the resignation of Truss and added a layer of uncertainty to markets, struggling to hold to gains from a set of positive earnings focus from US companies. Kylie Kumalo, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Well, for some reaction, we're now joined by John Ofe-Ansah, who's the founder and publisher of Africa Briefing, a Pan-African news magazine based in London. Great to talk to you again. The last time we spoke, the finance minister had been fired, quit, and I suppose many already sort of started to see what might come, and it has finally come.
Oh, yes. I mean, it's been a very, very chaotic, shambolic, week, if not a month, considering what's been happening since actually the Queen was buried and the outgoing Prime Minister Liz Truss, presented her economic plan, and the plans and the markets, rejection of the plan that saw interest rates rising, the value of the value of the sterling, tumbling and all that. And again, Friday the sacking of her close ally, Kwesi Kwarteng, the former Chancellor of the Exchequer, and appointing the current Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, whom I believe, accepted the appointment, with some very, very strong caveats. I mean, come Monday morning, he had virtually dismantled all of Liz Truss's economic policies. Okay, and yesterday, I mean, the things came to a head yesterday when the opposition Labour Party announced or tabled the motion, to vote on permitting fracking, to resume in the UK. And that vote, was billed as a vote of no confidence in the government, right? And yesterday there were symbolic things. I mean, but before then, the Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, also had to resign yesterday afternoon over some minor security breaches. But the actual reason was that the two of them, Suella Braverman and Liz Truss, had some major falling out over, migration policies. Okay, so come the vote, there were, and then again, there were the announcement that the chief whip and her deputy had also resigned. But later on, it was announced that they had unresigned. And just before the vote, there were reports of cabinet ministers, actually fiscally pushing conservative MPs to vote for the government. I mean, there were some, we saw on the TV screens here, there were symbolic scenes in the House of Commons lobby. So this actually, was the last straw that brought the Cabinet back. And the all-powerful 1922 committee so destroyed this morning. And then the rest, we know, we all know what happened later on.
Can the Conservative Party survive this? I mean, what we're seeing is almost the stuff of soap operas. It's hard to believe that a governing party could appoint someone, fire them within 40 days. I mean, it is unheard of.
I mean, look, even I'm not sure the Hollywood could write, a better script, because that's what they say. Sometimes the fact sometimes can be very much stranger, than much stranger than fiction. Look, right now, most of the opposition leaders, especially Keir Starmer, the Labour leader, and the Welsh leader and the Scottish leader are all calling for general elections. But I'm not sure the Tory party, where the incoming Prime Minister will call for general elections, because look, it will be like asking the turkey to vote for Christmas. Okay, they won't call for a Tory party unless something very, very, very major happens for whoever comes in to call for general elections. So whoever comes in next week Friday, I think we'll try and weather the storm till 2024 when general elections are due.
Could it be Rishi Sunak? Because when we look back, he was the one that seemed to have a voice that was closer to what the markets wanted eventually. And he warned about what could happen if Liz Truss took over. He's been silent since then, but it looks as if his position has been vindicated. And I'm also hearing that some people want Boris back.
Yes, actually, Rishi Sunak has been largely vindicated. And actually, he is supported by the liberal wing of the Tory party. And another wing actually supports Boris Johnson. Actually, as we speak now, the last time I checked, just before I came on there, 38 MPs, have expressed, their backing for Boris Johnson. And you need 100 MPs backing you to to stand for the race. Okay, so and it appears that right now Boris Johnson is a front runner. It is Boris Johnson, Rishi Sunak, and the leader of the House of Commons, Penny Mordaunt. So, but there's a likelihood that Boris Johnson could actually return, because look, when he left, the last speech he gave, in Parliament before he left, he compared himself to the ancient Roman politician who was called anyway, I forgot his name. This the Roman politician actually left office, went back to his farm, but later on he was recalled to come and sort out problems, in ancient Rome. All right. So Johnson is right now on holidays in the Caribbean, and what I hear is that he'll be flying over, by the weekend to try and whip up support, for his bid to return to office.
It will be remarkable if he does make a comeback. His own party fired him because they were embarrassed by scandal after scandal after scandal. And then they bring him back. I mean, the voters won't believe this, surely.
Well, the rank and file, most of the Tory conservative rank and file actually have been clamoring for his return, okay? And again, he still has some support within Parliament. So, look, don't be surprised. Like I said earlier on, he has 38 MPs backing him at the last count, just before I came on air, right? And chances are the 38 could increase to more than maybe over 100 by the end of this week.
Remarkable times that we're living through. I'm so glad I was alive to witness it. Thank you so much indeed. Always great talking to you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, that's one of our regular commentators, John Ofe-Ansah, the founder and publisher of Africa Briefing, a Pan-African news magazine based in London. Remarkable events playing out in the United Kingdom. Liz Truss in office for just 45 days. No one has ever had such a shorter term in office ever before. And so who will take over? People are crying for Boris Johnson. Hard to believe, but it's true.